I posted a video of this deck running through its 2-card combo 3 days ago. It already has a couple of hundred views, so I figured I might as well break it down for anyone who's interested in how this actually works. It's not a playable deck at any kind of competitive level because it will automatically lose to basically interaction, but it is a very fun way to show off how ridiculous extenders in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are. So the actual combo we're going for here is you create Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, which burns your opponent every time they activate an effect, and then you create Beals, who will, every time they get burned, activate its effect to get stronger, and it creates an infinite loop of infinite damage being inflicted to your opponent's life points. So there's a lot of play starters in this deck. It's very consistent, especially for an FTK deck. Normally they're sort of jank and have a whole bunch of bricks. This deck does a pretty good job of fixing itself. You're going to lose to your opponent more often than you lose to bad draws. So just taking a look at these, we have Foxy Toon, Xiamen, and E-Telly. These are all ways to get the Punk combo started, and E-Telly allows you to do it without using your normal summon. If you do end up having to use your normal summon, you also need a level 4 monster in your hand, so it goes from a 2-card combo into a 3-card combo. There's a lot of -1s that you can potentially draw in this deck, but you're also searching and drawing a lot of cards. So you don't end up feeling it, because 2 to 3 cards is all you need for the full combo. And as long as you see your combo pieces, you're fine. The other third of the combo, depending on how you're playing, is access to a level 3 tuner, which can be either E-Telly or Destrudo. And any way you can get Destrudo in the graveyard is great. So Dragon Ravine can be grabbed by Terraforming, but it can also be grabbed by Ancient Fairy Dragon. And if you draw your Union Hanger, you can use your Ancient Fairy Dragon to search your Dragon Ravine instead of Union Hanger, thus giving you another way to access Destrudo. Your ABCs, pretty much everyone knows how they work. They're not once per turn. They're a level 4 spam engine that once they're all in the grave, you can bring out ABC Buster Dragon. ABC Punk is a genuinely powerful deck, but it's just a resource vomiter, which is what allows this deck to actually function. If this deck didn't need 14 extra deck slots, you would actually have room to add cards like Appaloosa or IP Masquerena, which would allow the deck to interact and put up real boards, play through Interruption, rather than being a one-off gimmick. This is just to show off exactly how ridiculous extenders are, but ABC Punk is a very good deck. This is just a janky version of it. Onto the actual, not necessarily bricks, but if these cards get stuck in your hand, they will eat your normal summon, so you want them to get out of your hand as quickly as possible. And there's one way to do that in the deck, so you do actually have to draw multiples of the cards that eat your normal summon for it to matter. More often than not, you will be able to fix your hand. But Mathematic Multiplication only exists to be fetched by Nambla and make Beals. So if you draw it, you can shuffle it back into the deck with a card later in the combo. But Mathematic Multiplication and Sizan are cards that you really don't want to draw them. If you do draw them, it's not the end of the world. You can play around it, but they're bricks for all intents and purposes. Ibli is very important. You want to keep her in the deck because she can be summoned for free. If she's in your hand, she'll eat your normal summon. That being said, shuffle her back with a card I will talk about in a little bit. Deer Note, and just about everything from here. So Deer Note, Nambla, the rest of the Punk cards, Scattershot, Tally-Ho Spriggans, and Punk Jam Extreme Session, all are cards that it doesn't necessarily matter if you draw them, but they are a -1. So essentially you're just losing a potential search, but they don't stop the combo from working if they're in your hand. Nambla in particular, because it gets special summoned by the Primo Math Mech, it has the unique thing of you can use as discard fodder or keep it in your hand. It does not matter which, you will still have access to it. All of the others will sort of get pulled out of your hand one way or another, and they're just a -1, which the deck draws a lot, and it doesn't need a lot to get started, so having a -1 doesn't matter a ton. This deck, the vast majority of the time, can't actually complete its combo. You're going to lose to your opponent before the deck bricks you. But all of these cards are -1s. Volcanic Scattershot is the ignition trigger because you need some kind of a way to start the actual burn on your opponent. The most convenient way to do this is Scattershot, I found, because it can be searched and activated from the extra deck. If you draw it, you can use ABC Dragon Buster to discard it as well, activating its effect. But getting onto the cards that need a little more in-depth explanation, Punk Dangerous Gabu is a card you end up searching. It doesn't really serve a purpose other than burning yourself with the Punk cards to search it will give you another draw and its potential discard fodder. So it's a +1. You're never really going to use it, but it is a good card. If you end up drawing it, though, it's a -2 because you end up giving up both the search for this card and burning yourself to search for it, so you don't get the draw off of Extreme Session. Now onto the cards that are actually problematic. Union Driver is a brick that you can't normal summon to play around. If you draw Union Driver, you have to shuffle it back into your deck, or the combo gets broken. And the best way to do that in this deck is Spriggan's Kit. Spriggan's Kit, when she's summoned, she can be normal summoned if you end up drawing her, or special summoned by Tally-Ho Spriggans, will immediately allow you to bring her out and shuffle one card from your hand back into your deck. So any of those cards I was calling out as they might eat your normal summon, put them back into the deck, and you have just fixed your hand. So you need to actually end up drawing 2 bricks to make this deck stop functioning, or if your starting card is E-Telly, you need to draw 3 bricks. The only exception to this is, in order for Spriggan's Kit to shuffle a card back, you need to have Branded Exile in your deck. If you end up drawing Branded Exile, Spriggan's Kit can't unbrick your hand. Ultimately, this doesn't come up a lot, but drawing both of these cards does mean that the rest of the combo has to be perfect, because you have to normal summon Kit, which requires E-Telly to be your play starter. And this deck came out to 39 cards. It's a combo deck with bricks in it, so Magical Mallet. I don't really see the value of swapping this out for Called by the Grave, just because the odds of it actually helping are so low. But there's a big long combo that is all about using your extra deck as your materials, and these are the only cards that do any work. I could go over them one by one. Essentially, all of them are either a +1 special summon or a grab something from your deck. The only cards that do anything are Flare Metal, Beals, and Sprined, which Sprine just allows you to send Scattershot from your deck to the graveyard. If you draw it, you use ABC Dragon Buster instead. But it's not a particularly complicated deck to run, it's just a lot of moving parts. And playing it against a bot isn't different from playing it against a person. So, the way this combo works is pretty simple. You use some kind of a way to get the punks going, and once the punks are going, it becomes very easy. So you activate E-Telly, getting Zeomin. Zeomin gets Foxy Tune to hand. So here you use Foxy Tune to discard Destrudo. You can discard any other card if you have a different way to get a level 3 tuner. This is just the most convenient version of it because you need a discard and you need Destrudo and Grave. So opening these two makes it a very easy way to set up. There's a bunch of other ways to set up. So Foxy Tune will grab you the Fusion Punk, who you can then use to go into the Punk Fusion, which the Punk Fusion activates effect to get both Deer Note and Wygon. Wygon fetches you your field spell, which allows you further draws, lets you get more resources in hand. Deer Note will revive Rising Carp from Grave when it's sent for a Synchro Summon. So this is how you enable a level or rank 8 XYZ play. So you activate the field spell, Synchro, you activate Deer Note to retrieve your fusion, and you've also searched. So you use the field spell to banish Foxy Tune, special summoning Madam Spider, which Madam Spider is both a draw from paying life points for Jam Extreme Session, while also searching for the Punk Trap you're running in your deck. And it's a level 3 tuner, so this does a lot for you. So you go into Gigantic Champion Sargus. Sargus will... I'll just let it play out, but you search Tally-Ho Spriggans, you use Tally-Ho Spriggans to get Spriggans Kit. This is the point in the combo where you can start fixing your hand. A big part of this deck is knowing when to stop drawing off Jam Extreme Session, since if you already have a card you don't want in your hand, stop drawing. Because Spriggans Kit can only fix one of them, and as long as you have the 2 or 3 pieces for the combo to start, you're fine. But this enables Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon does a whole bunch of things, both getting you a field spell and the free special summon of a level 4 or lower. So you use Union Hanger to get your Union Driver. Union Driver tags out for a different Union, and this allows that Union to actually be special summoned this turn. So originally off Union Hanger, if you just go B-Buster Drake into a different ADC, it won't be able to special summon itself. Union Driver has to work as a middleman, and that's what enables the deck to fetch so many resources. So you go into Platinum Gadget, which is a free special summon, and B-Buster Drake is not once per turn, so it just keeps filling your hands with resources. Platinum Gadget gets you a special summon. Destrudo, it gets to come back, and now you have automatic access to Karakuri Shogun Bure. On summon, this card will get you Saizen from deck. If you draw Saizen, you can normal summon it, but Bure is here for both being a level 7 material and also the free level 4 it gets you. So you need to make it using a machine. This only works because ABCs are machines. So you've made Flare Metal by using it, and also Akashima. Akashima is the card that sort of makes it so you need either to spend your normal summon on B-Buster Drake or to draw one. If you draw one of your ABCs, you can make Akashima using Sea Crush Wyvern and special summon the additional one from your hand. Because Akashima will not activate without a level 4 target in hand, you need 2. So if you have 2 of your ADCs in your hand, and you send Sea Crush Wyvern, Akashima will not sort of take your normal summon, but because of this, you still need to. Just because Akashima needs the level 4 in hand before its effect can activate, so the bees activating higher up in the chain does not actually help. But it automatically brings itself out, then forces an XYZ summon. So for the XYZ, you want your pre-math mech, which will tutor, and it gets you access to Nambla, which you can activate the pre-math mech's effect, tributing your gigantic champion to special summon Nambla from hand. Then Nambla allows you to tribute any Cyverse monster, including your pre-math mech, to special summon any other math mech from your deck, which is going to be multiplication. The important thing here is because... Oh, it's Nabla, not Nambla. Oops. Nabla has access to Beals because it's a dark tuner. That's really the important part of this card, is you need to figure out a way to turn a rank 4 into a Beals. This is the only way I can think to do it, because you need to special summon 2 level 4s. One of them has to be a dark tuner. But you activate Nabla, tribute it to special summon, you go into Beals, and you can overlay the 2 Link 2s you previously made for Sprite. And neither of these can be used as Link materials, so Sprite is the only way you're going to get them off your field. That being said, it's very, very helpful. Sprite's a very good card. But you've put all your ABCs in the grave, you can banish them for ABC Dragon Buster. Dragon Buster has nothing to do with this combo. The only thing it really adds is a body, and if you have Scattershot in your hand, you can discard Scattershot using Dragon Buster targeting Union Hanger. It's just another way to proc it, but you're using the ABCs, why not special summon another monster? So you activate Sprite and you bring out Ibly. This has to be done after all of your other summons, because Sprite locks you into only level, Link, or rank 2 monsters. So Sprite has to be sort of the last thing before you go into the search. But Ibly is the only level 2 that works here, and we're not using it for the Link restriction. The important part about Ibly is the fact that it changes which side of the field it's on when it's used as a material. So by using Sprite and Ibly for Transverser, Ibly automatically special summons itself, and Transverser just targets the 2 cards it points to. So Beals and Ibly have to be summoned to special zones. You can also just shift this entire combo over to this zone by putting Ibly here and Beals here. You can do the whole combo using only one Link zone if you're going second and your opponent has no responses whatsoever. But yes, we're not using Ibly for the floodgate to lock our opponents into links. We are actually taking advantage of the fact that it puts a monster on the other side of the board. Early version of this, the only other way I could figure out how to put a monster on the opponent's side of the board before they start playing was Black Garden. This is a lot more convenient. So after swapping them, you use Ibly and Transverser because you can only go into a Link 2. That is the only summon you're allowed to conduct due to Sprite locking you out of anything besides a Link 2, and the Ibly, now under your control, locks you out of everything except Link summons. So the only summon you're allowed to do at that point in your turn is a Link 2. Luckily, Sprite Sprined is exactly what you need. It's a Foolish Burial for a level 2, and it's a Link 2 monster. So you use Sprined, sending Scattershot, and Scattershot turns into the kicker for this deck. Any effect activation from the opponent could automatically burn them, but things like Kaijus and Sphere Mode and Lava Golem all exist. Dark Ruler No More couldn't be responded to. If you relied on your opponent activating a card to burn themselves, there's enough common cards that they would automatically lose. Or that they would break your board before they automatically lose. So Scattershot is very convenient. You give up the extra deck slot for Sprined, but it's a lot more convenient than something like using Parallel Exceed to go into Gaga Cowboy. And once you've hit this point, as soon as they take damage, it is an actual infinite loop, which are relatively rare in Yu-Gi-Oh! But every time Flare Metal activates, Beals activates, and every time Beals activates, Flare Metal activates. So they just keep getting stronger and stronger Beals, and your Flare Metal will just keep burning them to death. It does not matter how many life points they have. This will keep going until they are completely out of health. But it's a simple combo. I've got a bunch of examples of how to play it, but other than that, it's not difficult, it's not interactive, it's just a goofy one-off you can show your friends.